Packets of electoral violence were recorded across some constituencies during the 2020 general elections. Here in the Techiman South constituency, 2 people were killed with 6 others sustaining various degrees of injuries. To help address this as well as build consensus amongst stakeholders, the National Peace Council held a conference aimed at tackling post-election violence. The conference, held under the theme Countering Post-2020 Election Violence and Building Consensus for Greater Political Tolerance in Ghana, saw various political parties, Nananom, the Electoral Commission, the Ghana Police Service, the clergy, amongst others, sharing ideas on the way forward in avoiding the recurrence of the 2020 incidents. Mr. Swala Abdallah Kwanda is the Executive Secretary of the Peace Council for the Bono and Bono East regions.
You will agree with me. The 2020 election, Techiman South has been in the news all over the place as one of the areas where during the coalition the peace of Techiman was undermined. So this is a project that is taking place in some selected constituencies in the country. So Techiman South in the Bono East region is one of the constituencies that the National Peace Council took note of, at least to assess the situation, meet with stakeholders, engage stakeholders, and then solicit their views. And then we'll see how best we can deal with election-related violence in future.
Amongst the issues raised by these stakeholders is the timing for collation after voting. They say late counting is a recipe for disaster and needs to be relooked at to avoid future conflicts.
Another area that I think from the discussions that we had here that we need to also look at is the time for collation. You can imagine electoral officers going to sit a whole day from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They are tired, fatigue is already there. And sometimes the coalition gets deep into the night. It doesn't help. Also, they look at the number of people who mass up at the coalition centers. Political party supporters, you go, a whole lot of noise. Sometimes electoral officials even get confused and tired. So these are all areas that I think we need to look at, maybe going forward in our electoral reforms.
Nana Mponsa Takra is the Ankobia Hene of the Techiman Traditional Council. For him, the number of political violence recorded in some parts of the country were as a result of irresponsible journalism by some media personnel.
This thing that happened in Techiman really affected us. So my point is that when the media gets to hear about an incident, if you're a reporter, you need to do your research very well. You need to do your research, go deep into the matter, and then before you bring anything out, you need to ask yourself, this report that I'm going to send out there, is it going to maintain the peace that we have in the country, or is it going to result into chaos? It is very important that as media personnel, you get to know these things before you act.
He called for the establishment of a punitive law capable of prosecuting bad reportage as a means of sanitizing the media space.
Looking at the aftermath of the elections once again, I am pleading that if there is going to be any law that will, help the country to prosecute bad reportage, it will be very, very helpful to the whole country.
Bono East Regional Minister Mr. Kwesi Adujan, on his part, urged the people to embrace peace as a tool for development.
Peace doesn't have color. If we all live in a peaceful environment, it creates an enabling environment for development to take place. All over the world, where there has been development, it has been intertwined with peace. As we are meeting today to look at the conflicts, violence which might have ensued, I would want you to look at it objectively and to see into the future the vision of the country and the vision of the region.
Other stakeholders, including the 2 major political parties, the NDC and the MPP, shared their views on the way forward in preventing political violence in the Techiman South constituency. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Techiman.